Hello, this is Brian from Tavaran Games, and I'm going to talk you through how to host and play an online game of D&D using Dungeon Maker. This is for the early access version that will be on Steam in 2022. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to set up the Steam Friends multiplayer, but for now it's using multiplayer over IP. So the first thing you'll have to do is, of course, create a campaign. So I've got a couple test campaigns here I've been making. So once you've created a campaign as the Dungeon Master, as the host, you host a campaign and you just select which one you want to start hosting. So we're just going to take this one and the game will load. You are now online and whoever's hosting the game, the Dungeon Master, is the host of the game. They are the server. So you'll find down above the exit game button the IP addresses that can be used. Either the local IP address that can be logged into if everyone's on the same network, or the online IP address for anyone who's on a different network. So let's open up a different window. For your players, they will all need to create characters. So again, I've created a couple of characters here in the character sheets. We can take a quick look at that. Say we've made a character. Okay. So for the players, they'll hit Join Campaign. They will type in the IP address. So we're going to use the local IP address since this is on one computer and I want to blank out my online IP. So you put the IP address in, you select a character, and you hit join. And it should load very quickly. If the players are unable to log in the first 5 to 10 seconds, if the game doesn't load, it either means they weren't able to get through your network, either because you have a firewall up, or because you don't have port forwarding set up, which I'll talk about in a second, or they typed in the IP address wrong. That happens too. But okay, if you are on a wireless network or a network where every computer is assigned the same external IP address, this is very common for wireless routers, you may have to set up port forwarding to tell the players which computer they're supposed to connect to on that network. So I'm going to log into my router here. So just using my local IP address for a D-Link router, we're going to log in. Now I've already set up port forwarding for me. So for D-Link routers, at least for my router, under features you'll see port forwarding. So if we go to that, you have to create a rule for what computer to send it to. So for Dungeon Maker, the TCP port and UDP ports you need to set are 7,777. So if you're, say, adding the rule, you'll name it, whatever it is. We'll call it the Dungeon Maker rule. So you figure out which IP. So you'll have the list of IPs here. So you saw our address, the local IP address when we started the game was this 101. So we know that that's the local IP we have to send the game to. And then we just, again, it's 7777 for both ports, and you would apply that. I'm not going to apply it now, I already have the rule in place. But that's all you have to do, and then make sure you save the rule, at least in the case of D-Link routers, you have to hit save before the rule's in place. Once you've done that, every player will be sent, that opens the game and types in the online IP, will be sent to this local IP. And that'll make sure you're on the right one. If you change computers and you're hosting from somewhere else, you just have to log into your router and change the IP address associated with the rule, and then make sure you save it. So hopefully that lets you get started playing Dungeon Maker in this early access version, and I really hope you guys have fun playing your campaigns online and bringing people in who can't be in the same room. Have a good one.